Okay. Thank you for being here. A couple really exciting things are happening. First off, you're here, which gets me excited. And then second, good morning, Janet. Good morning, Christy. Hey, Dodie. Um,
Morning.
so I just put up the Join FoodFlip website. So I'd like to go over a couple things. I defined what a food flipper is and just highlighted our values. And so I wanted to hit on that really quick before diving into meal prepping. So this is the last meal prepping call. So the first time we just talked general meal prep process. Second call, I gave you the sample meal plan along with how to make your own meal plan given your nutrition plan, um, and just step by step on how to do that. And so today we are going to finish up last but not least. I don't want to give it away, so we'll just have to wait and see what that's all about. So let me pull up the website really quick. So it's joinfoodflip.com, and I'm doing health talks at businesses. So if your business wants a health or nutrition talk, that's something that I'm starting to do as well. Okay, so Food Flip. You guys, I'm so proud of you guys, honored to be on this journey with you. I'm learning alongside of you guys. Y'all have taught me different recipes or different tricks. So one of the latest ones was Dodie showed me that her and her husband coat their chicken with mustard and then season it. And then I personally put it in the air fryer. They used a grill, but I'm not quite using my grill yet. Hopefully I'll get there. So that's one thing that I learned really recently. So super proud of you guys, grateful for you guys. So I wanted to showcase y'all on this website because y'all are the face of Food Flip. Just wanted to highlight that Food Flip isn't a particular diet. It's not keto, it's not low carb, it's not restrictive, but I show you how to fit in your favorite foods, and that's really central to what Food Flip is all about and what I've personally learned to be sustainable. Just in general, over the past 6 years of working with nutrition and nutrition coaching and my personal bodybuilding journey. So these are a couple things that have been said about these recipes. So I wanted to highlight that there. The chocolate mousse recipe, y'all know, I absolutely love it. And Amber tried it and she gave a little bit of feedback. So just wanted to sprinkle in y'all's words, y'all's touches on here. And I love our group picture. It makes me so happy. I was laughing and also I might have shed a tear just like putting this together. I'm very sentimental. So I really appreciate you guys. And then what a food flipper is. So these are our values, and these weren't said in words yet. So I wanted to articulate them. But I think y'all lead this. I appreciate y'all. So I know I'm grateful for you guys. So I'm just going over these values here. But I really appreciate gratitude and respect. Y'all have been very, at the minimum, respect is kind of, I guess we don't really need to say, it goes without saying. But y'all have been very respectful, which is um, really essential for some of the vulnerability that goes on here. Um, just speaking kindly to each other, and then the integrity. This is a very challenging piece, but it takes integrity to be honest with me as a coach and then with each other on just being honest with yourself, most importantly, on like what you're trying to do, what you're eating. Sharing your food takes a lot of integrity as well. And then proactive accountability was something we talked about on our first call. Of accountability is not me getting on you and saying, hey, are you continuing to follow your plan? Or it's not nagging, it's not one-sided. But if you want accountability, you're reaching out to me or you're reaching out to each other, or whatever you need to do for that accountability, you're asking for that, or you're giving it. So it's proactive. And then selfless service. So this is one that I want to do more of, which is like giving health talks, helping with food drives. So I am looking at how to serve my community here, but my goal with FoodFlip is to also serve your community. So wherever there is a food flipper, I'd really like to invest time, attention in your particular community, how we can help minimize food scarcity or help people with nutrition literacy, how to stretch their dollar to get a little bit higher quality nutrition. So those are our values. And then I just, these testimonials are a testament to you guys' progress and your efforts. And so I wanted to honor you guys with this, and I'm very, very proud, and so happy whenever I see this. My face hurts sometimes, but some of these you've seen on the FoodFlip chat under progress. So one of them is the change I'm most proud of is I have a grip on impulse eating. I found self-control. I feel like that is so relatable because I feel like I know I've gone through spurts where I feel very impulse eating. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of attention to take a deep breath and just pause and not kind of go crazy, but just take a deep breath, and a lot of things can settle down from there. Um, and I didn't want to just highlight weight loss, although that is happening here, but feeling motivated, sticking to a plan, feeling accountable, LDLs, which is a blood lipid, a fat in your blood that can cause some health concerns. LDLs being low, Janet with figuring out what causes the bloating, and then being mindful of that and maybe enjoying those foods in a smaller dose. So all those things are awesome testaments to what you guys are doing. So there's just a little bit more about what FoodFlip is. And then I love this part, what's cooking? So I put some of your food pictures here, which is super fun, just to highlight that you can have all kinds of foods while you're improving your nutrition. So that is the website. That is where I am, one of the places where I'm bragging about you guys. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. If something doesn't work or a link doesn't work on there, let me know, but it should be all good and up and running. So thank you guys again for being who you are. And now let's dive into the meal planning. Let's see, how do I, last but not least. Okay, here, stop sharing. Okay, so let's do a little recap really quick. I never want this stuff to be theory. I get plenty of that in school, but it really doesn't create change. So I'd like to go the next step and work on application. So I asked you to bring your nutrition plan. It's okay if you didn't, but if you go to your messages, to our messages, then you'll have your plan there on your phone. Do y'all have your plan in front of you?
I can get it.
Okay. But what we want to look at is, let's see what page, is page 2. So after the title or after the cover page, page 2 is your plan. So you'll see the number of proteins, number of veggies, number of carbs, number of fats. For the example's sake, if you don't have your numbers, pretend like your protein portion is 3. Let's pretend like it's 3 all the way around. So protein, veggie, carb, fat, 3 all the way across. Okay, so we have our number. Now think about, are you a breakfast person? Do you love your breakfast? Do you like to load up on breakfast? Or are you more of a big dinner person and you don't have acid reflux and it's not a problem and you just enjoy being full? And we can always talk about like the health benefits, but in general, as long as you're eating the amount of food, timing really doesn't matter a whole lot. That's more in the nuance. We can always talk about that later. But if you love dinner, then know that about yourself. If you love a big lunch, know that about yourself. So if I know that I love my breakfast, I like starting off the day because I don't like thinking about food a lot. And I find sometimes if I don't have breakfast, or I wait for a later breakfast, I'm just thinking about, okay, is it time yet? Can I eat now? Um, so for me, I know I like to have a little bit bigger breakfast. So I personally would load up more on breakfast than I do. So I have a lot of cottage cheese in the morning. So if we have threes all the way across, which and a better example might be fours all the way across, but let's go with three. Then I might use a general person might say, okay, I'm going to have one portion of everything at breakfast, one portion of everything at lunch, one portion of everything at dinner. And that's the most straightforward way. But if I know I want more at breakfast, then I might do 1.5 proteins, which is what I do at breakfast. And then I might have a lighter dinner where I'm only doing like a half portion of protein, for example. That's one way you can kind of redistribute things. I am not a veggie person in the morning. So if I know that I don't want to have veggies at the morning, then I know, okay, I would rather push some veggies at dinner because I'm going to have a lighter dinner. I'd rather feel full instead of feeling kind of hungry. So let's push 2 veggies at dinner to help me feel full. So that's one way you can kind of tweak your portions based on what you like personally, how full you like to feel when you go to bed, how full do you like to feel when you wake up in the morning, or if you love enjoying lunch with coworkers and you'd like to enjoy a bigger meal, then you can push more of your portions at lunch. So you can do it's super straightforward. Just take the number of portions and divide it by how many meals, and you keep every meal the same. Or you can kind of play with the portions. So the sample meal plan that we have, um, it varies. The portions are not the same per meal. So breakfast is a little bit different than lunch, then is a little bit different than dinner. But if you notice, all the breakfasts, so I can actually maybe pull that up so you can see what I'm talking about. Um, but does that kind of make sense? Once you know your portions, you can allocate it according. Okay, perfect. So let me share my screen really quick to show you guys this. Okay. Presentation view. I think this. Okay. So here is the sample meal plan. So you'll notice all breakfasts are one portion of protein, one carb, and one fat. No veggie. I personally don't like veggies in the morning, but notice how different these portions can look. So if you are super basic or you're a beginner and you just want to keep things super, super simple, remember that keeping things not interesting, keeping things boring is okay for a time, especially as you're learning. But you can always just look at what we have for Monday and you can eat that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc., just to kind of keep things simple. But just notice how different one portion protein, one portion carb, and one portion fats can look like. It can look like a parfait, it can look like pancakes, it can look like oatmeal. Um, so all of these breakfasts are the same portions. And same thing for lunch. We have 4 different lunches, but all of them have these same portions. So you're not dead set on lunch looking one particular way. You can make it look multiple different ways. So that's and for this sample meal plan, it's for someone who has 4 portions protein, 4 veggie, 3 carb, 3 fats. And then I just wanted to show you how you can use a half serving of carbs if you so desire. You don't always need to keep it at whole numbers. Like just like my personal example of I like a bigger breakfast, so I make my breakfast 1.5 portions protein. So that is what to do. So let's take a step back and cover what we learned. So you have your plan. Uh, now we need to figure out how many meals you want a day, if it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I like to have a snack. So then you can either so have the number of meals that you want. So for me, that number is 4. And then figure out how many portions do you want per meal. Do you want to just keep it simple, divide your number of portions by 4 and keep every single meal the same? Or would you like to kind of play around with it and make breakfast bigger or dinner bigger, snack smaller maybe? So play around with the amounts. So now you have the amounts per meal. Now what do you do with that? Well, if you're cooking at home, I would personally have 2 proteins cooked, 2 carbs cooked, 2 fats ready to go, and 2 which one did it? Veggies. And then when it's mealtime, you just scoop and you're done. So at lunch, let's say just given our 3, 3, and 3 example, 3's all the way down. We need 1 protein, so let's plop a 3-ounce piece of chicken breast, for example, just to keep it super simple. Let's say we want a cup of quinoa, that's our carb, and we want half of an avocado, that's our fat. And then we can have just plain leafy greens if you want to keep it simple, or broccoli or something like that, carrots, for our veggie. And that can be what lunch looks like. It can just be a plop and go. If you're eating out, then it could look like the exact same thing, just ordered out. Italian food is really friendly with chicken. They normally have some kind of chicken breast. If it's stuffed with spinach, great, however you enjoy it the most. So that is what mealtime, how simple mealtime can look like. So that is meal prepping summary, and a little bit of a refresher on what we talked about last time. So this time, now to put it all together, let's see if I can find my screen again. Okay, let me stop sharing this. Wait, is my screen shared?
Not yet.
Okay, okay, okay. Sweet. Oh my gosh. I need to change my settings on my computer. Whenever I share my screen, Zoom goes like 3 tabs over and then I lose y'all. Okay, so to put it all together, let's go back, I think. Yeah, this is it. Okay, share. Okay, so I know y'all are seeing my screen, but here it is. Okay. So I made some flashcards. I'm so excited about this. The student in me is very, very happy. I lived off of flashcards. Okay, so to put it all together, we're gonna start off with some examples. Let me see if I can. I always lose the presentation view. Okay. Okay, so let's go over some examples on proteins. So I should have changed lean meats to protein, but this is a protein portion. A protein portion is typically 4 ounces raw meat or 3 ounces cooked. So Dodie, can you give me an example of any of your favorite proteins?
Well, probably my,
One.
oh, one. Okay. One. Probably would be ground turkey.
Okay, awesome. Yes, that's a great example. And I love how you change it up with different seasonings. So it can still be the same turkey, but it can be totally different. One weird seasoning that I tried is cinnamon. So if you're Lisa, if you're tired of the taste of meat, sometimes I even sprinkle a propel on it, which sounds weird, but you can try it. Okay, and then something that Dodie likes is having a little dollop of yogurt on top, right?
I like
Yeah.
doing that on the canned chicken.
Okay, the chicken. Okay.
Yeah. So
Um,
I do the canned chicken with Mrs. Dash Southwest Chipotle seasoning
it's so
and
good.
garlic powder. No salt because there's already salt in that canned chicken. And a little
Right,
bit of
right.
black pepper and mix all that up. And then I put a dollop of Faye, the yogurt.
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, Perfect. So, Christy, what's one of your favorite proteins?
We eat a lot of ground chicken, actually.
Okay. Yes.
Just a lot of bowls and have a lot of things. So we do a lot of ground chicken. We do ground turkey sometimes, but the ground chicken's a little cheaper sometimes at the store.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Especially now, I've noticed that ground turkey has gone up, but ground chicken per pound is like 320 something. It's crazy. And then Janet, if you're able to chime in, what's your favorite protein, one of your favorite proteins? Oh.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I had to unmute myself
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I'm leaving for exercise and I'm
Oh, yes.
just
Okay.
realized I forgot my purse. The first thing that comes to mind are protein shakes and protein bars because those seem to be the quickest thing in terms of just real meat that you cook. It's probably
Right.
going to be ground
Right.
chicken as well,
Okay.
or
Okay.
hamburger meat. I found
Yeah.
that at the Belleville Meat Market, you can get the 95% lean hamburger meat
Yes.
for like $4.99 a pound if you buy 10
Right.
pounds.
Right.
So
Right.
that's a new discovery.
That is a
That's a
great
good
deal.
price.
Yeah.
It's crazy good. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so then let's go through super rapid fire for these so we're getting kind of the hang of it. So water-based veggies. Dodie, what's one of your favorites?
Spinach.
Spinach. Okay. And then Christy, what's one of your favorites?
We buy the great big bag of HEB, the broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, and we always
Yes.
huge bag of that, and we usually just cook that with every meal, or Brussels sprouts, or we're having a salad, doing the spinach or a spring mix and just some
Right. Right. And you bring up a good point. If you buy those mixes instead of buying like a whole head of broccoli, if you don't really eat a whole lot of it, or a whole bag of carrots, sometimes I get like the 1 pound bag, but it's I don't eat that many carrots. Or like the whole bag of cauliflower. If you get a mix, you get that variety without needing to buy a whole lot. Um, okay, and then sweets and starchy foods. So many foods fall into this category. So if you need a refresher on which foods are the sweet or starchy foods, I have the portion guide 2.0, and I'm going to repost that on Discord. But it has a whole list of different carbs. I'm just going to give a couple examples here. Fruits. So I've drifted a little bit away from fruits lately, and I'm coming back to them, and I'm really excited about it because it really helps my sweet tooth. So y'all saw that I had strawberries the other day. Absolutely loved it, and I didn't actually have chocolate that day. So I'm seeing a correlation. So fruits is an example, or rice, quinoa. Those are examples of carbs, and then fats. These are fun. So, Christy, what's one example of a fat that you like?
What I eat the most of, probably between olive oil and avocados. I mean, because I cook with
Yes.
oil so much.
Right.
Actually, in Greece, coming back from Greece, I bought really good olive oil, so I use
Oh,
that on my some of my salads.
yes. Oh, and speaking of olive oil, I know that Dodie loves a lemon infused olive oil. Have you tried that before?
I haven't, but actually at Brenham Boards at the charcuterie place, they have a whole wall of all different kinds of olive oils. So
Oh, really?
I'll
Oh,
have
that sounds
to
so good.
experiment.
Yes. Yeah, definitely,
I'll have to go
definitely give
check that out.
it was Brenham Boards, you said?
The charcuterie
Okay.
place downtown.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Brenham Boards. Awesome. Yeah, I think that'll be right up Dodie's alley. And then other things would be like peanut butter, other nuts and oils and things like that. So now here are where the flashcards come in. So 2 eggs. This is going to be a pop quiz. So 2 eggs. We know that there's each food is typically a mix of different either proteins, carbs, or fats. So like, for example, avocado, that's a great source of fats, like Christy said. And half of an avocado is an example of 1 portion of fats. But it also has some carbs in there, and we can always talk about how to find out what's in your food nutritionally, maybe another time if y'all are interested. So eggs are a great example of another food that has a little bit of protein, and you might have heard before that eggs have a bit of protein. The protein's in the egg whites. But then we have the egg yolks, which is higher in fats. So for FoodFlip, for 2 eggs, that is 1 portion of fat since it's only minimal amount of protein, and we'd rather load up a little bit on protein from more of those lean meats, but eggs have quite a bit of fat. So 2 eggs for FoodFlip is a portion of fats. So continuing with this, half of an avocado, kind of already gave it away, but Dodie, what is the half of avocado? What portion?
It's going to be a fat.
Perfect. Yes, so it is a fat. Okay, so now 1 cup of fat-free plain yogurt. What would that be, Christy?
Protein.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, so it's protein. And then pineapple. So pineapple is a fruit. So 1 cup of fruit or fruit in general, Dodie, is a protein, carb, or a fat.
A carb.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so y'all are getting the hang of it. So green beans. So this one is there are a lot of different veggies, like the whole rainbow in colors, but typically if it's gonna be green, like green beans, then that's a pretty straightforward veggie. But now here's a different example that's not green, carrots, but that is also a veggie. And then we talked about chicken, and then just to iron out, is it 3 ounces or 4? Because your sheet says 3 or 4. It's 4 ounces raw, 3 ounces cooked. So 3 ounces, which is like a small chicken breast. They are loading up the chickens on all kinds of hormones, and they're super, super big and beefy. So some of the chicken breasts now might be really big, and that might be more of like a 5 or 6 ounce. So that might be 1.5 portions of protein. But in general, 1 small chicken breast is 1 portion protein. So now we're going into transitioning from what type of food, whether protein, carb, fat, veggie, to number. So it's 1 serving of protein. So now 3 ounces sausage. This one is a little bit of a trick one. So it's totally okay. This is a trick question, but sausage, Dodie, do you know what portion or what type, whether protein, carb, fat, veggie?
It's going to be protein and fat.
Right. So sausage has both protein and fat. To keep things simple though, bacon and sausage, they do typically have more fat in it than protein. So to keep things simple, I would encourage doing sausage as a fat portion, even though it does have a little bit of protein in there. And if you look on your portion, I'm doing an updated one, but 2 ounces of sausage is 1 fat portion because it's really has quite a bit of fat in there. So 3 ounces, which is this sausage link. You can get these at HEB. They're really big sausages. Those are 3 ounces per link. So that would be 1.5 since 2 ounces is 1 fat. So here's a little bit of the nuance that I wanted to introduce. I want the questions to be harder here, so then life feels super simple and easy. Okay, so then this is kind of a classic meal, a variation from the chicken, broccoli, and rice, but we have chicken, quinoa, and broccoli. So let's think and like break this down a little bit. So we have a small chicken breast, so that looks about to be 3 ounces. We don't have a hand for portion or proportion, but let's just say it's a small chicken breast, so about 3 ounces. And then that looks like maybe 2/3 cup of quinoa. So that is potentially a portion of carbs. And then we have a green, so we're thinking veggie and broccoli veggie. So to put it all together, Christy, what do we have here?
Protein, carbs, and veggie.
Perfect. Perfect. Awesome. So y'all are getting the hang of this. So we don't really have fats here, even if they use, there's a little bit of fat in chicken, but we're keeping things simple. And this is what it is. 1, 1, and 1. Cool. Okay, so we have a very similar thing. We have chicken and quinoa again, but now we have something a little different. We have avocado. So whenever things are cut up, you can't really see, but it looks like it's half of an avocado. So for this one, we have, did I do that right? Yes. Okay. I was nervous there for a second. So we have one protein, one veggie, and one fat.
No, one carb.
I mean, yes, one protein, one carb, and one fat. Okay, and then the last one. So sometimes we have a hodgepodge of things, and it's like I don't know what to count things. So if you ever have that, then let me know, and we have a cheat sheet for it. So like for example, ice cream. I'm not sure if it's sweet, right? But then it also has heavy cream, so it's fat. So you have a cheat sheet for that, which is one of those small Bluebell little containers, is equal to half a portion of carbs and half a portion of fats. If you are at Thanksgiving, I can't believe I'm going to say Thanksgiving is coming up. It's August, but it'll be here before you know it. If you have a hodgepodge of things, then you can always message me what and I'm going to do a Thanksgiving edition to give you guys some cheat sheets for that. But I'll have cheat sheets for stuffing. For turkey, it's obviously the protein. For mashed potatoes, so I'll have you covered and ready to go. So hodgepodges are a little different. This might be an example of a hodgepodge. So looking at it, it's not quite just a carb. It has meat in there, but it's not just meat. It has fat on there, but it's not just fat. So how do we break this down? How I would personally do it is I would think, okay, it's got quite a bit of cheese in there. It's at least 2 ounces of cheese. And 2 ounces of cheese is a fat. So, okay, I know it's got some fat, and then now it's got some meat in there. Hopefully it's loaded up with meat. If not, you can always supplement and put I like to ground beef. It doesn't have enough meat typically, so I like to ground beef and then put it in one of the layers. But hoping it's loaded with meat. Let's say this is about 3 ounces of meat, so we're going to count that as a protein portion. And then we have quite a bit of carb here. We have in this particular layers, we have like 4 small sheets of pasta. I would say that's roughly a carb portion. So for this hodgepodge, I would count it as one, and it's crazy how close this can be to the actual nutrition facts, but this is one protein portion, one carb portion, and one fat portion. And whenever I looked at the actual nutrition facts, it was like 10 calories off. If I calculate how many calories are in one protein portion, how many calories in a carb, how many calories in a fat, and the macros were pretty spot on. So this is not macro counting, logging every single bite you eat, but it's just a formula to know about how much to plan for every meal. So it helps give you guidance on what to order at restaurants, gives you guidance on how to meal prep to make it super simple for you, customizable for you, without needing to spend all the tedious time tracking and maddening yourself, inputting more recipes, or just stressing about it when you don't have the recipe or the macros. So wanted to give you guys a realistic way to enjoy food while also hitting your nutrition goals, and these portions are it. So that was our little pop quiz. Y'all aced it. That was absolutely amazing.
Yay! We know what
Yeah,
we're doing.
I know. That is so awesome. So hopefully with these a little bit of trick questions and harder examples, you can go through your day easy breezy. So any questions before we wrap up?
I do have just one refresher question. You know the Premier Protein shakes?
Yes.
Is that going to be only a protein?
Right. That's a great question. So Premier, okay, yeah, so Premier Protein is on your, let me share my screen real quick. So the portion guide that I'll resend today has Premier Protein under the protein portion, and it is one portion of protein.
Because I have been drinking more of those more frequently. just because I've been busy and I want to make sure
Right.
that I keep up with my protein. So sometimes for breakfast on the go, I'm just
Mhm.
grabbing one of those
Right, right.
just
Yeah,
because I
so
didn't have time to put together my parfait or, my egg
mhm,
whites or whatever it was. Uh-huh.
exactly. And the
So I
good
just
thing
wanted
about
to,
those is that you can have them at work or unrefrigerated is safe, unlike, yogurt, it takes a little bit more housing. Yeah, so these are awesome for on the go. Um,
and for a snack too. Sometimes
mhm,
after work, before dinner, I'll have one to tide me over.
exactly. Yeah,
So
so we
let
have
me ask you
Premier.
this. Sometimes I'll have cottage cheese, say maybe a half to three
Mhm,
quarters of a cup of cottage cheese with the cherry tomatoes.
mhm.
Are they equally as good, cottage cheese and tomatoes versus the Premier drink? Are they both equally the same, would you say?
Right. So, as far as protein goes, yes. And then with the tomatoes, I might even be more filling. So, protein drinks typically don't fill you quite as much as solid food. It takes more
Mhm.
digestion. So, it really depends how full you want to feel and what really tides you over. If you're really craving a bit of a crunch like those tomatoes give you, or that
Uh-huh.
gushing, then I'd go with that. But yeah, they're very comparable. Yeah.
Okay, good.
And Chris, you look like you might have.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. So I bought some, I don't remember what brand, I think it's called Apple something, but the chicken apple sausage. So would that be a protein, but then also a carb?
Right. That's a
Got
great, right. That's a great question. So, sausage in general is that fat portion, but they're coming out with all kinds of great alternatives or food flips really to the foods you love, but maybe a little bit leaner. So, they're coming up with all kinds of chicken sausages. And if you look at the nutrition label, it's mostly protein and barely any fat, which is an exception of most sausages or the classic sausage. So in those examples, just send me the food item and I'd love to look at the nutrition facts and give you a cheat sheet for that. But just thinking right off the bat with chicken, um, typically apple is just flavor. It's typically not a whole lot of apple. So for a chicken sausage, I would think of that as chicken straight up. That's kind of disguised in a sausage form and really flavorful. So I'd think of it as chicken. So if you're having 3 ounces of that, then I would count that as a protein portion.
Okay. Yeah, I usually
Yeah.
like it in my egg whites and eat that in the morning sometimes.
Yes.
I found
Yes.
them.
That right. So that is awesome and great question. Yeah, with so many and turkey bacon, for example, is another example. So there are so many options that are coming out now where it's like the food that you love, but it's flipped nutritionally. And so if it's just as satisfying for you and you love it, then I would say that's a food flip. If you end up eating that plus the food you're craving, then it's a food flop, and then maybe just go ahead and eat the real deal. But with those really sneaky foods like protein pasta, that was something else that Christy brought up was protein pasta. And so that would be an exception where most pastas are just flour, just a carb. For those protein pasta options, you can send me the nutrition facts, and then I would tell you, hey, this is one portion carb and a half a portion of protein, which most of them are. Those protein pastas there are a lot of great options out there. And then just to refresh, I think we had the protein pastas under Ask Michelle if and I dropped my top 3 options, the one that I would try, one that's almost no calories, which is crazy, and then another option that might be more accessible or you might find it at your store. The one that I would personally go with, I think you can only buy it online on Amazon, but I'm pretty familiar with buying things on Amazon, honestly, so it's not a problem for me. But I did give 3 options to choose from on those. Great questions. All right,
Yeah.
ladies. Well, we did it. We passed the pop quiz. Thank y'all again for showing up. And to wrap up, if you or your business or a club that you know would like a health talk, I would like to live out the value of selfless service and provide that. So if you have any ideas or questions on that, let me know. But yeah, thank y'all for living our values of gratitude. So it's GRIPS, gratitude, respect, integrity, proactive accountability, and selfless service. So thank y'all for living that out.
Absolutely.
All right, ladies. Well, take care. Y'all have a great weekend. And then next time we'll talk about how to change our plan to continue to see results.
Sounds great. Yep.
Awesome.
Thank you. Y'all have a nice weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye.